What up, y'all? Back, Abuamerican, here with a guest. I actually just, I put it in my men's community also. I said, if guys want to come on the air, they can come on the air. OG Logic has been kind of like, dead. The guys are all going through something. And it's like, I don't know half the people that follow me on YouTube. They follow me on Twitter. I don't know nobody. So I was like, yeah, what's up? Someone come on.
And then you like that.
So before we get into our topic that we were talking about backstage, who are you, man?
So I'm known on Twitter for being the Metal Shogun, aka with Shogun Services Ghostwriting. I've been around the sphere like the last couple years or so. I wouldn't say like full blown manosphere because it's got so many like subgenres and stuff, but I mean, pretty much got into that circle through the Tates and started following all those guys, and then actually getting to meet them in real life, and it's been a ride since, man. Like, I just do my thing, and I just try to help build the ones up that need it up, and just try to avoid the degeneracy and the depravity that's on there.
Man, it is rampant, isn't it?
Dude, it's so bad.
I think it's gotten worse, actually. I think it's gotten worse since I got on there.
Yeah, it never used to be this bad, and then like getting into the sphere, and especially like joining the war room and seeing like being around like the Tates and stuff, it's like they get anguished at people of that mindset, and like guys like ourselves, and they just can't control it, and they just want to come after us. Like, oh, you're principled, you have hard lines, you're moral, you can't exist on the internet. And you're just, you just all right, whatever.
Yeah, right. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, bro. It's nuts out there. I don't know what's going on, man. The world's changed, and it hasn't been for the better. But hey, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Yeah, man. You know what? I was thinking about just today. I was thinking I might rejoin the war room. I was in there, and then basically I left. Or they do the whole Skyping thing, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm good. I might join back up, man. It's kind of cool being in there.
Yeah, that's where I think I initially started following a lot more of your content too, because when you like I've seen you around like here and there on Twitter, and then once you got in there, I was like, wait, I've seen this guy before. No, yeah.
I was about to ask, how did you end up following me? I was about to ask that. I was like, how did you end up following me? Because
initially, anybody that really joins, and they prove themselves a presence. I'm like, yeah, I want to follow people like that. They got good stuff to offer. Like they bring knowledge and good stuff to the table.
Yeah. The war room's got some really brainiac type guys up in there, man. Indeed. Whew. Yeah, we were just talking in the back room about like martial arts and whatnot. You train some martial arts. What do you do? I'm always big on like dudes training and fighting and being able to fight. You say you train. What do you do?
So I have a background in Taekwondo and then a little bit of boxing. And last summer I got into Muay Thai because I wanted like hands-on being a fight gym again. Taekwondo is more point system. Not to say that it doesn't have its practicality, but it's not as practical as stuff just like straight up Muay Thai and boxing. Because in a street fight, you're going to go with what you know, and fists are usually the quickest thing. So Muay Thai, as I read about and saw some movies on, is like very grueling to be able to do if you're going to do it at a higher level. And I didn't join just to join, just say, oh, I'm in a fight gym and like show up now and then. If I'm committed to learning something, I want to learn it. And so the past several months, I've just been consistently building up the foundation and knowledge of what I've got, getting the techniques down better, getting my conditioning up so I can perform longer and then be able to spar more effectively. I don't think I'm going to get into any actual pro fights. In hindsight, probably should have started that road in my 20s, but I do like being able to show up and spar with the fighters, hang with them, and keep up with them at least, and just make myself more competent in the art daily.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice if you can fight. I mean, I fought professionally in jiu-jitsu, not any striking. I have fought amateur striking in boxing, but in terms of professional, nothing professional. Jiu-jitsu professional fighting though, I was in the Abu Dhabi World Pro like 4 times. So yeah, that was tough. People think jiu-jitsu is like all easy and stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, get out there with some of them pros and let's see what happens. Boxing, yeah. So I was saying in the background, we have like similar pathways in terms of like martial arts. I took Taekwondo for 12 years from when I was a kid up until like the middle or end of high school. And then I found out basically I'd been getting into a lot of fights. I actually wrote a whole book about it. And Taekwondo has its merits in terms of teaching you strikes, kicks especially, but really in terms of, like you said, combat, whatnot, and points and all that, it's just completely impractical. And you fight how you train, and I was always like holding punches. I'd punch and I'd like stop right here like you do in class. And I just was like, man, this ain't working for me. It almost cost me a few times, in real situations. And then I started training boxing. Well, I went jiu-jitsu, boxing, and then Muay Thai. And I was doing Muay Thai, boxing, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the same time. And that was tough, but it was awesome. I loved it. 6 days a week training, 1 day of recovery. And but I was killing it. And actually, I wasn't even that young of a guy. That was when I was like 42, and just, dude, I became a beast. I'd like to do it here, but it's not really possible because of the distances. In Qatar, everybody's in Doha. And so you just go from one school to next school to next school, Yeah, my boxing coach was, he was a professional fighter. Maybe I can find this stuff. Hold on. And he retired from fighting. Retired. He's not old, but he retired from fighting just before his next match was supposed to be actually Mike Tyson. That's back how good he was. Wow. Yeah. Let me see if I can find him. Let me see if I can find him here. Oh man, I'd end up like searching forever for him. Because, I'm not going to find him. I'll ask him for the link. I follow him on whatchamacallit. I follow him on Instagram, but he doesn't really link his stuff on YouTube, even though it's on here. Dang, no, I can't find him. Oh, wait, is that him right there? No, it's not. So, yeah, and I just love fighting, dude. I love it. Win or lose, I don't care. So I think every man should do it. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alex Lazar, he is the freaking man. I love that dude, man. This dude right here. This dude, never met him face to face. I talk about him all the time. He just cold reached out to me on an email. I was like, yo, you got someone running your website? And I was like, no. He's like, you want me to do it? And I was like, okay. And he just turned into like one of my closest homies. Dude, I love the most in the world, man. One of the dudes I love the most in the world. This is a crazy thing. Yeah, man. So tell me something, man. I don't know. I just decided to invite people on. What's up?
Well, man.
Okay, wait. Let's pull this back right now because I'm all about like helping young guys. What would be a piece of advice? How old are you actually?
I'm 31.
Okay. What would you advise to a guy like 18, 19? He's just coming out of school, and he's like looking for his path in the world. What you gonna tell him to do?
So 18, 19, avoid the frivolities of things like college age things of, let's go out and just fucking get drunk all the time and let's go out and party and let's just go waste our time. Like, experience those things in moderation, but use that time as like a springboard to just set up your foundation and get your life like set, because that's the prime time you want to do that kind of work. And I wish in hindsight, I don't have any regrets about how I lived my life, but I wish I would have hunkered down on that sooner and had the resources then as now that we have, especially with the internet too. Because for me, there wasn't really the prominence of smartphones yet. Like, they just started to come out around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things are still done online. A lot of things were still unknown to people. There's such a wealth of information nowadays that find someone older to teach you those things. Find a mentor, find a few mentors or a team that you want to be with together and do that. Don't just piss away your youth doing dumb shit.
Absolutely. I tell that to guys all the time, but normally it's face-to-face thing. I don't think I've ever said it online. Well, maybe I have said it online. It's like, man, you got to really focus at your young age because it's like that. I'm 48 now, and I can vividly remember my early to mid-20s like it was like last week. It was like, it's just, when my kids got big and all that, I'm just like, how'd you get so, when did you start driving a car, dude? Last week, what the? It really just shoots by me. So it's like, yeah, guys really need to focus, man, because it's just one life, and this thing will shoot you by. And like you said, man, all that partying and all that stuff, you never remember it, man. you know how many discotheques and clubs I went to in my youth where I was like from Thursdays up until like Sundays, I was out partying. I can't remember details of that stuff. But like whenever I made like a real proper experience or I learned something new that actually changed my life, man, the party never changed my life. Not in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Nice. So there you guys have it. Focus. With combat sports, how long have you been doing it?
Muay Thai, I've only been doing for several months. I did Taekwondo for 3 years, competed a few times, and then boxing I took for a season when I was 20 or 21. Enjoyed that, but didn't stay with it as long as I should have. And again, it's just, the youth of lack of discipline. Like, I should have stuck with it in hindsight. It'd been cool, but it was good to get what I could off it. And now revisiting just the want of, I want to be back in a fight gym again. I miss doing it. I've always loved doing martial arts in some way, shape, or form. And I like knowing how to defend myself. And so I joined the local one over here that's been open like the last 5 years, and it's solid. The gym here, they pump out champions left and right. It's a wall of belts. I'm like, yeah, I want to train here.
Yeah. I'm the sparring partner for most of the state champions in Sarland here, and they've turned out like a lot of pro fighters here. They even got like combinations named after like their pro fighters that came out of here. That's because that's the combinations that made them famous.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, Alex, come on the show, man. Hey, that applies to anybody. You want to come on the show? Let me know. I'll drop a link. You can come backstage. I'll check you out. Make sure you ain't too ugly, and I'll let you in the show. I just play it. Haters, friends, come on. You know what? Let's see who's brave. Let me drop this link in the backstage side of the game. Hold on. Let me find this link here. I just decided to do something different, man. I've never tried anything like this before. Boom. There it is in the chat. You want to come back? You want to come on live? Do it. Let's go. So anyway, the reason why I want to ask about this is because I always advise guys to get into combat sports because it changes you. And it changes you like, man, how do you explain it? It's not to you. Yeah, go ahead, please. No, you're the guest. Go ahead. Drop it.
It awakens you and it makes you more intimate with yourself. Very, very intimately, and sometimes painfully intimate, but it does.
That's a really good way to put it. Makes you, you know what? That's perfect. It makes you intimately aware of yourself, and it's not always good.
Yes.
I remember the first time I fought in the Abu Dhabi World Pro. And there was no striking or anything. It's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's grappling. But dude, chalk mouth, sweaty hands. And I realized at that moment, not only was it stage fright, it was just a general fear. I just didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
And the fear of losing was bigger than the fear of the guy out there. And man, people, you come to find out, man, how big of a coward people are. They can't face, another man. If a guy can't face another man, I don't know. Can you face yourself if you can't face another man? I don't know. But man, yeah, it teaches you a lot about yourself. And sometimes people don't like what they see, and that's why some people start and they quit.
Yeah.
That fear, that's tough to swallow as a man.
It definitely is, because a lot of people like to carry pride close to the chest, and a lot of people aren't willing to let their pride be rebuilt in a way that they can continuously improve off it. Because there's a fine line. In my opinion, there's a fine line between ego and arrogance, where ego is the thing that it's your confidence, it's your outwardly drive, it's the way you carry yourself, it's the confidence that makes some people sick, and it makes others like, wow, that dude's he's hot on hell with it, and you constantly have to prove your ego to be sustenant and legit. If you fail, you don't get the option to brag. And then there are the people that are just arrogant, that have not proven anything, but are full of hot air and want to carry themselves the same way. And there's that fine line that divides the two.
Yeah, indeed. And I've come to realize also something. It's like, my coach said this first. And my jiu-jitsu coach, he actually just gave me my black belt. He said, if you want to know how a man really feels about you, you have to fight him. He said, there's no other way to truly know how a man feels about you unless you fight him. And it's true. There's guys, and I saw this in a boxing club, I saw this in jiu-jitsu. It's always the same. There's the guys that act cool, and then when they get in the ring, they go ape crap on you. It's like, all right, we're going to take it easy. We're going to roll light. We're going to spar light. And then they just come at you like, going to the freaking walls.
I hate that shit. I've dealt with a few of those.
Yeah, and then there's the times where it's like, the guys, they're like, they're just trying to improve with you. You might have like a move over him, and he's trying to, you're trying to help him figure it out and work through it, whatever else. This is very big in jiu-jitsu because, a lot of all the joint locks and chokes, and so it's like physical chess. So yeah, you see the difference, man. If you really want to know, yeah, Alex, man, anytime, man, just pop up in the room, man. Just follow the link, and you'll pop up in backstage. Yeah, and it really just it shows you how a person feels about you. And those guys that they're all smiles, hey, yeah, American, how you doing? And you get in the ring, and it's like, in his mind, there's no way he's gonna lose to you because he believes intrinsically he's better than you. And yeah. And then when you beat them, they hate you. The truth comes out then. Then the truth comes out, and that's, yeah. So I try and stay honest with people. It's like, I just tell dudes, you get in the ring with the mic, man, I don't really like you. So this might be rough.
That's a perfect place to settle it, though. Like, if you can't settle it with your fists, then how else are you going to settle it? Because violence is the final answer to everything in the equation. It's what humanity has always willed and always continues to revolve around.
Yep. I'm like, hey, feel free to reciprocate. This is going down in here.
Yeah.
And if you want to do that tomorrow.
When I go sparring with like a lot of the fighters in the gym, we're there to make each other better, and I don't outwardly come out to hit as hard as I can. I like to be very technical and light because if you start throwing heavy, man, you can really hurt someone, or you can get hurt. And I don't want to hurt anybody in my gym. I'm one of the bigger guys. Like, a lot of them are leaner and smaller, and I always am trying to take care not to hit them too hard and just work more technically because I don't have that malice towards any of them. Like, we're there to just get better with one another. And very fortunate. There's been a few times where I've sparred someone that they're like, oh yeah, we'll go easy, and they're throwing bombs, and I give them warnings like, you throw another one, I'm gonna throw back, and you're not gonna like it. And I had to do it. I had to do it to him.
Yo, how's it going, man?
What's going on, Alex?
I'm pretty good. I'm here. I'm working on blockchain creators. I was implementing some new features. How's it going?
Good, man. Good. Actually, I want to get around to upload my stuff as soon as I finish these the crypto mindset course, bro. That stuff is like, it's killing my brain. It's so deep, it's like it's really intense information, man. But as soon as I get finished with that, yeah, Alex is actually he handles my website and everything. He's been like mashallah, he's been a blessing from Allah.
Hey, Rich, are you by any chance registered into blockchain creators? I think you are.
I think I may be. I think so.
I recognize the username. That's why. Let me know if we can help you with anything. We're there.
Will do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You guys were the topic of martial arts. I've been a boxer in high school too.
Oh, nice.
That's why I got the crooked nose, you see.
Are you saying you were a bad boxer? Is that what you're telling us, bro? I
mean, I wasn't the greatest.
I'm just playing with you, man. You get hit, man. It's real. It happens. Yeah. I've always been like fast. Even in my old age, guys just can't get me in the face. They can get body shots on me, but I'm just like Mr. Like, whoop, 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 what, and I have long arms, Nah. I was fighting this guy. His name's Rashid. He's from Syria. Dude is like a state champion in, I forgot what weight category it is, but he's tall as heck, got long arms. Dude is blazing fast. I don't know how a guy with arms so long can like cover such a distance. And we were fighting, and he had me up against the ropes, and then the coach was like, stop trying to hit him in the head, stop trying to hit him in the head. I was just like, and he couldn't hit me. And he was just like, he just stopped at one point and was like, what the frick is going on here? But I wasn't throwing counter punches. I love the dude, man. He's a cool bro. I still keep up with him on on Instagram. Yeah. What you think about fighting, man? You think it's important also, Alex?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it changes you mentally. I remember how I used to be when I first started out, and it made me so much calmer when I was training. I haven't been training in a year now. I've really, as you can see, I've gotten a bit fat. But when I'm training, I'm calmer, I'm more confident in myself, and also it teaches you discipline because when I started out at 16, I was shit. I was getting beat up by the girls in the gym. I was awful. Right? Yeah. And in 2 years and a half, like I was beating up almost everybody in the gym. But I was training like 6-9 times a week. I was really going at it hard. I was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
for those 2 years.
You know, I've never. No, have I sparred a girl? I don't think I've ever sparred a girl.
Yeah, I was 16. I was like very young.
No, I'm thinking actually, if I've ever sparred a girl in jiu-jitsu, I have. It's just not fair, man. They just get crushed. You know, they'll be like 4 belt levels higher than you. They're 3 belt levels higher than you. You know, they should be technical bullies. They're just like, you know, just our power out of their moves, just like, you know, no technique whatsoever. He's like grab her, toss her around. They can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, no. Once you get old enough that you mature as a man, that's true. They cannot stand a chance.
No. You know what's crazy? I'm gonna say this, and I don't. You guys are gonna find out that old man strength is real. I would never imagine deadlifting what I deadlift now, like I did back when I was like 20. I was too skinny. You get more weight, you get more meat, whatever else, your body just changes, dude. That old man strength is real. If you keep working out and you stay in the gym, you turn into like this monster man. What's up, Dimitri, man? Welcome, bro.
Yeah, thanks. Hello, guys. Alex, I know from Blockchain Creators, lit website, man. Works exquisitely. Rich Rubio, I saw you a few times on Twitter. Haven't spoken to you yet, I believe. So, hi there, also.
Time for everything.
For everything is the first time. And, well, topic was quite interesting when it concerned fighting and self-defense. So, yeah, when talking about own experience, I have to admit I'm not... Well, haven't practiced martial arts, though I have my experience with fighting through my student years in bar fights. And, well, in let's just say I know how to fight and how hard a bottle can hit or a glass, etc. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been on a lot of street fights. I put it in my book, The Mad Monkey. I've been on a lot of street fights. Yeah. What's up, King Munster? Yeah, a lot of street fights, man. It's not something I advise anybody to get into. And people are crazy nowadays. It's not like back in the days where you could fight and then, you know, that was it. You know, everybody was like, all right, we settled this. Dudes want to stab you, treat you, all sorts of stuff now. You know, it's just, that stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who think they can fight. I noticed that when, hooking up in bar fights. People like, yeah, I've got a black belt, I do jiu-jitsu, etc. But no one can really stop when a chair is thrown towards your face. Something they simply do not expect. And, well, that's how I get my experience. Okay, I've had a few hits with, well, a chair in the face, few glasses, but nothing too much. You simply get up and you kick the other dude hard, as fast as you can. And if you see an opening, just go for it. No amount of self-defense will learn you that hard.
The element of the surprise. But that's part of martial training. It's like, you know, being prepared for like what's predictable in terms of human nature and behavior in terms of strikes. I mean, strikes and attacks can only come from certain angles, you know. So it's like, it's kind of like once the hostilities uptick, I'm already like, just all right, this guy's gonna swing. And 9 times out of 10 guys don't swing, you know. Or I'm like, yo, his buddy's gonna swing from the left or from the right. So, you know, you have, you know, spatial awareness and whatnot. It's like the number one thing. Like if you're gonna be out in a public zone and you're dealing with hostilities, you have to expect that he's got homies and that the dude's just gonna wild swing out of the blue. And if he doesn't, that's cool. But if he does, you're ready. That's why it's like, you know, this is something actually everybody clowns Wing Chun. But when we, you know, Wing Chun, they do that whole fighting like this, you know, guarding hand, striking hand, seeking hand, striking hand. And one thing they always taught you was always, you know, when you're talking to someone, keep your hands together. You know, it's like in front of you because you're automatically like right in the Wing Chun fighting position from just a simple hand movement. But if you're standing with your hands at your side and a guy throws a punch, well, now you got to go all the way from your waist all the way up to try and, you know, block a blow, or you got to have this really fast head. And so when you're here, you can automatically, boom, you know, just block. And this is really,
that's what my boxing coach used to tell me. When a fight's about to happen, first off, you go like, no, calm down, I'm good. And then you can, from here, you can go.
Yep. It's good for optics also, because if it actually turns into like GBH, grievous bodily harm, then, you know, it looks like you were the defender, like, no, you know, hey, stop, whatever else, because you got to count on people who can see the interaction but can't hear it. You know, you might be like, your mama's ugly as a dog, and I kicked her in the teeth for barking too loud. You know, you might be cussing, dude, but you're here like, yeah, that ugly skank.
Yeah, but that's
the crap out of that dude. So
quite
for legal
interesting.
purposes, it's good to also have your hands up in that position.
Right. It's actually something quite interesting. Like if you're talking to people, to always use your hands to, well, clarify things by reason. Especially if you need to be diplomatic in a stressy situation where tensions rise high. It's always best to keep your hands a little bit about by reason. Well, you show the people, hey, cool, we're cool, nothing going on here, but you're immediately fighting stance. So if they should wipe out, you can immediately go like, yeah, and you block. Or if you want to strike, your hands are already present, and that's something I've also learned well within the bar fights. A lot of people keep their hands next to them before, well, starting to push with their shoulders, with their backs, etc. That's a big mistake, and well, if you are doing the explanations, you can more easily strike, more easily block them, even perform a better punch. So yeah, most of the things happen instinctively. And my experience with martial arts, although I never practiced it, but from fellow guys I've both battled with or battled, well, stood next to me, well, they generally have automated their moves a little bit by reason. Yeah, they perform a certain action, but they are not as quick to respond to something else. So, for example, if a punch comes this way, they know how to block that and that. But sometimes they do not expect suddenly a leg coming up from somewhere else. So,
This is why I tell guys get in fighting sports that make you spar, because sparring is dynamic. You can't do automated pre-programmed blocks like in Taekwondo. I did Taekwondo 12 years. He did. Rich did Taekwondo also. He's doing blocks, and it's not realistic when you're actually fighting on the street and someone's like throwing a haymaker or overhand right. You know, so these are things. This is why I tell guys get into fighting sports that actually force you to spar, because a person's going to actually. People are adaptable. Even you will be. But do you have the luxury of adaptability when you actually get into a fight, in a real fight, in a ring where it's controlled and everything? You can experiment, you can try things out and do something different, see what works, what doesn't. That's the best place to do it. Best place to do it. You get out on the street, you got to have your bread and butter. I know 1-2 kick works. I know 1-2 uppercut works. I know this works because I've done it in the ring multiple times, And what you come to find also is 9 times out of 10 that when you get into a combat sport that forces you to spar, 90% of the men you come across in your life are victims. They're almost as helpless as a woman, And most guys don't realize that, And that's another thing that you come to realize when you you catch a guy, he throws a crazy punch, and you're like, bow! You catch him real fast, and you're just like, was he actually trying to tag me, or was he just trying to scare me? Then you're like, man, I feel bad now. No, he was actually trying to take your head off. He's just a victim, and most guys don't realize how. This guy, I'll give you an example. I was doing Wing Chun, and although I had taken Taekwondo and everything, and I'd done some sparring and whatnot, this guy was a boxer, and he was an early boxer, and we were talking about Wing Chun boxing. We got back forth. The guy I said, let's go outside and let's spar. And so we went outside, and he wanted to come in with just a straight right, but he took a really wide step, and I found that odd. And I did what's called a stop kick. You put your foot like this, and it's like you kind of turn it so it's like it makes a large area. And I caught him in the upper part of his thigh, right above his knee. The dude just collapsed and fell, just like he's supposed to. I was just like, look at this.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting
I didn't hit him, but I was like, see, you'd have been done. And he kind of like, man, fuck you, dude. I'm out. It was back when the military days. It actually happened behind the masjid. He was a Muslim.
yeah, the funny part with fighting is most people think, yeah, I need to damage my opponent as most as possible. Whereas when I get in a fight, I think I need to incapacitate him as soon as possible. So not necessarily perform much damage, but like for example, if there's a glass with water next to me or with beer, well, I'm not going to strike if I have the beer next to me and simply toss it into his face. I'm depriving him of one of his senses. And that is actually also a fighting tactic. Blind your opponent, weaken him, so he cannot perform as well and is more eager to back out due to, well, surprise and the sudden weakness that they have not accounted for. So that's also a quite important thing, because with martial arts and with many fighters I hear and see, well, they try to perform as much damage as possible and not so much as de-stress the situation, incapacitate the guy, as good as possible. So that's also a very important factor when it concerns fighting. Also, to add, some time ago, I believe it was somewhere in December, it was like on Twitter the hype where people started sharing those videos of dorks, I have to tell, getting into fights, but really lousy fights, like plain opening, trying to punch each other, but yeah, it was more a little cat fight between men, etc.
I haven't seen it.
I see Retrivio nodding there. It was from videos from Alexander Cortez, etc. But I saw it was quite funny.
We talked about fighting for like a half hour, man. Let's get into some good stuff right now. So we're gonna talk about fighting, finances, and women.
Sure.
Who's on that crypto run? Who? Raise your hand if you want crypto.
If I own, yeah.
Man, who is enjoying these crypto runs right now? This bull run is insane, dude. The money that's just flying around. Nobody has an excuse anymore. You could be a moron and make money, and people are online complaining, crypto is a furtherance of the white patriarchal structure of racism. I'm like,
What?
Who says that?
Today, no joke.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, are you serious?
It's almost impossible to lose money with cryptocurrency nowadays. Even if you launch your own project, almost impossible unless you're really, really stupid. Now, I have to admit, I lost some money today. Samsung Android update, and well, one of my smartphone wallets has been compromised. Well, a little bit destroyed, lost some money there. Trying to recuperate, it should be possible. I still have the seed phrase, but yeah, need to perform a few software updates in hopes I can recover. So yeah, a little bit of a nasty day today.
You, Rich, I know you can't go into too much detail with it, but you're in the war room, right? So I mean, you guys got the trading bot up in there, the war room trading bot. You use that?
I don't have the trading bot. I followed the signals for the longest time.
Okay.
Now, they're pretty solid now. They've got really solid. And then I wanted to get in the DeFi course that Andrew just released.
Yeah.
I mean they're just killing it. So I'm getting some money together just to get into that next because I'm already on DeFi, just right now staking Cake, and it's been terrific.
Yeah. Cake. I've heard a lot about it. They actually mentioned it in the crypto mindset course. They were talking about pancake swap, syrup, and all this type of stuff. It seemed pretty complex, but it doesn't seem insurmountable to learn. I've heard a lot of good recently about like the, I guess it is the trading signals, not the bot. I guess it's the trading signals. I've heard a lot of good about it lately. I was just like, oh, okay, wow, nice. Yeah, Alex, I know you're in crypto. You just started the whole,
I personally, I just own a bit of Bitcoin. I wanted to buy some Ethereum, and now I'm trying to kind of learn how trading works, as you know. But yeah, I'm also involved in blockchain creators. I founded it, and basically my main problem with the whole crypto environment is that everybody uses it to invest. Nobody uses it as a currency, what it's intended for. And that's why I actually started blockchain creators, because I figured I might help push into making it more of a currency, less of an investment. You know, and my personal belief and why I got involved in owning Bitcoin and whatnot is that the next 10 years, people like me, we're going to create an infrastructure so that you can actually use crypto to buy stuff.
Well, that's a solid remark there, especially with the platform you made, the blockchain creators platform. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency will become more and more mainstream. I can actually see it here, and I'm talking from experience, a lot of nations, Europe, the US, Russia, China, all are implementing their own cryptocurrencies, their own national, cryptocurrency. And it wouldn't take long, I believe, even in the following decade, that it will become, nationwide, obligatory. So that would imply additional billions being poured into the market. So cryptocurrencies are really going to take off. And as you said, will be used as general currency. So the platform you created, actually future-wise, has very, very, very good potential. I was quite happy to jump on it just by that reason. And it's also one of the reasons I will keep on promoting it, just by reason because I know of the potential that it has.
Yeah, I don't think that most people understand the potential, like you said, Alex, outside of like investment. It's unbelievable the stuff that's going on right now in the background. Like, I just, my wife has been working on this project for a while, and basically on the handshake blockchain, decentralized, web domain names, and basically it's like unblockable, like Abuamerican. Abuamerican is now, I own it. I own Abuamerican as a top level domain. That means I can make .Abuamerican. So you can have Abuamerican. Yo, get multiple wives .Abuamerican. And so that's what this blockchain, the handshake blockchain actually does. It allows you to make whatever name you want into a top level domain. You can't block it. You can't be canceled. And it's not like GoDaddy, where GoDaddy, you don't own it, you rent it. No, you own it. It's basically, your web name is similar to an NFT. It is yours. Nobody owns it but you. And so it's really freaking amazing. And so we've been in this for a while now. We've been keeping it on a down low, but someone in our corner of Twitter actually knows what's up, and they've been down there, playing dirty in the trenches. And so we just decided to go ahead and put out that we're actually in that section of the world. But my wife does a lot of DeFi projects and stuff, and it's going good. It's going good, man. It's going good. So the technology, especially in the age of censorship, dude, you can freaking do a lot with that. You're uncensorable now. It's blockchain technology. You cannot be censored. You own it. The only thing they can't even say block Abuamerican. I'll still get around it because the technology is different, and so you can't block it. I'm sure one day someone will figure out a way to do it, but right now it's there. Library is another example. Library, everything including this show will go over to the library blockchain. It's there forever. As long as that blockchain exists, this video will exist on that chain. And it's better than YouTube because they don't censor you. The viewer gets paid. I get paid, Why wouldn't you be happy? On YouTube, you got to watch them stupid commercials. And now they do them dumb commercials back to back, to where you got to watch 5 second, 15-second mandatory commercial, and then 5-second one you can opt out of. Library doesn't have that, and you still get paid. YouTube, they freaking make you suffer through that. The minutes of your life don't count for something, and then you don't get paid for it. Fucking bastards. Give me a second. Oh, you got somebody else here. Okay, hold on. Add stream. What's up, Shaq?
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.
Assalamu
alaikum. Hello, fellow Shaq.
How's everyone? Kept my camera off. I want to keep my identity secret.
I think Abu is lagging here.
Oh.
Yeah, I lagged out. Hey, Dash, she said, wow, how's that done? You had to hit me up, man. Hit me up, and we can do it for you. We have an entire service. We'll take care of it for you, man. You ain't even got to worry about it, man. We just transfer that stuff over to you. Alex knows. We got Alex's information. We, all this stuff preserved on the handshake blockchain. Gave it to him because he's the homie, man. I can't hook you up.
Abu has been into this for months now. He's been talking about it to me for months now.
Yeah, I've been in for a while, actually. Deep. My brain hurts from it. Yeah, man. So, yeah, now is the time. And the thing is this. I know I'm talking to most here, guys. I apologize. But you get into a project that you believe in and you can make money off of it. It's just, and you can just make money, period. So, but how about you, man, Rich? Other than investment, you doing anything on blockchain or anything like this, or are you just investing right now?
I'm trying to get verified on Rarible. I started the process yesterday, but it's longer than I thought it'd be. So I guess they're just verifying me right now because I want to get my drone photography and film up and release them as NFTs.
Your what?
I do drone photography and filming.
Me too, man.
Hell yeah. And I want to get that up on an NFT platform and be able to sell it as art.
Yeah. I actually have a more professional Instagram that I don't really connect to Abuamerican. It's called Drunk on Drones. And that's where I do my drone photography and drone footage. I just don't want that whole Abuamerican drama dragging over to there because some of my jobs, I've started to get paid on jobs. And so, you got people who go there actually looking for your stuff professionally. You got weirdos over there talking to you about their drama. How do you have multiple wives? A potential client doesn't want to see
Thanks,
it.
bro.
But I don't hide it either. I even have a YouTube channel, Drunk on Drones, but I haven't updated it. So there's a Drunk on Drones YouTube channel, and I haven't updated it. I did my travel vlogs over there because I travel a whole lot. Yeah, so that's awesome, man. Yeah, we're actually on Rareables, and we're on Open Seas also. It's NFT brokers. We actually have some clients, so we're the NFT brokers for them. Yeah, it's going well, man. We haven't missed a beat. That's why a lot of guys think I'm just out here wasting time, just chilling. I don't know, surfing chicks. My next wife. It's not true. What about you, Alex? I know you just kind of recently got in, right?
Into what? I wasn't.
Like cryptocurrency in general.
Oh yeah. I literally bought my first wallet like 2-3 months ago. And initially, I bought it just to receive payments for my freelancing services, because I got PayPal locking me up for 2 weeks or 1 week, I don't remember, and it's a bummer. I want to be able to receive my money, right? So that's how I bought my first wallet, and then I figured, you know what, I might as well buy some Bitcoin, keep some there, what I don't want to spend, and from there, now blockchain creators. Now I'm learning to trade. I think it's awesome, especially since it's protected from inflation.
Yeah.
I don't know if I shared with you that inflation. There's this guy. He made. If I think it's let me just search. There's this website that basically shows you. Yeah, it's inflationchart.com. Can I write it somewhere here?
Yeah, you can put it in the private chat. I think you should actually be able to share your screen. I think you should be able to.
Yeah, I have a bunch of code from blockchain creators, so I don't really want to share the screen.
So yeah, it only shares that one screen. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but basically, this website shows you the effects of the money printing over the past 20, 30 years on the S&P, on real estate, on food, on everything. And you can see that basically, if you invest money in the normal things, you're not really making much, if anything at all.
Yeah. Here it is, huh?
Quite interesting site, and you can clearly see the drop when COVID appeared, somewhere December 2019. Steep decline and continuing to decline.
Yeah, that's pretty ugly.
Quite steep even.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I'm
basically,
curious
the
about
red
something.
line is adjusted for the amount of cash there is in circulation. And the green one is what you see in the bank, the actual number, but obviously it's not the actual value.
Yeah.
And it's a bit crazy.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
That's actually a very terrifying graph if you know how to interpret it. Extremely terrifying.
Look, click on the SP and look at the average house price.
SP.
On the up there.
Oh, up here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh, hold on. Let me look at some food. My niggas.
Yeah. I was surprised too.
What the? Where's houses? Let me see. House, copy, Tesla, Big Mac, U.S. home price.
Bruh.
Oh.
I mean,
it hurts.
That's a mess.
Damn.
You can check the income. I think it has the income too.
Oh, here we go. BTC.
Why am I not surprised about that graph?
Ethereum, hold on. You can't even buy with the whole check. You can't even get one Ethereum with that whole check Biden's been giving out. Oh, bro. Hey, this is pretty good site, man. How'd you find this, bro?
I mean, it's this guy. He's a programmer just like me, but obviously he's much bigger, and he builds just little websites like this. He built Digital Nomad, nomadlist.com.
Yeah.
And a couple other websites. Yeah. You can see the average income in the US too, compared to the M1 and the M2 and the M3, I think.
Oh, bro, I gotta check this out. We gotta do this another time. Let's carry on some more topics here.
I'm going to bookmark that site. It's
Well, I
very
have a question
interesting.
regarding the decentralized domains.
Yeah.
Right. The internet is owned by DARPA, which is Americans' defense, basically central defense, whatever, tech people. So if the internet is owned by DARPA, can't they just shut you down because they own it?
They can shut down the internet, but you can't really block the decentralized whatchamacallit. Hold on a second. You can't really
Yeah, decentralized is cloud, so
you
it's
can't really
actually
block
very hard to do
internet.
so.
So
Yeah.
the decentralized domains are almost like a hidden cubbyhole in the
Basically it's like
the net.
cryptocurrency. The only way you can stop cryptocurrency is to turn off the internet.
Yeah.
And so it's the
Right.
same thing. The website functions in the same way. Blockchains function in the same way as cryptocurrencies. The only way you're going to shut it down is to stop miners from actually, putting cryptocurrency into the actual chain and, expanding it and allowing it, and verifying the chain. That's the only way you can do it. And really, I'm not even sure if that will entirely work.
Well, if I may, Martin, when it concerns blockchain and cryptocurrencies, well, blockchain is decentralized. So there is no real central server. What you are actually doing is making use of the internet
Yeah.
to create some kind of local area network that spans the entire globe. So if they
Right.
want to shut down a domain, they will need to shut down each and every computer logged into into the network and into the blockchain, which is virtually an impossibility to do so.
Yeah. It's like I said, you'd have to shut off the internet to the world. And when I say shut off the internet, I don't mean to your house. I mean to the world. So basically the decentralized websites, they function in the same way as the cryptocurrency.
Yes. They sound like a safe haven on the internet. The internet is a mess, but there's a safe place within that nobody else can get to unless you're invited. Almost. And those in control of it, they can't manipulate usage of that.
Manipulation is very difficult. Obviously, we talked about this a lot. Me being a miner, also, I talked about proof of work. I'm a big fan of proof of work because I'm a proof of work miner, and so verification of the blockchain. It's just me and Dimitri went over this, like how much power is on Bitcoin alone. It was like something like, what was it? Something quintillion terahashes worth of verification happening per
150 million terahashes a second for Bitcoin alone, which is almost impossible to break.
You can't break it. Everybody's talking, what about quantum computing? They can, dude, that thing is like 9 billion quantum computers right now. There's so much processing power. How are you going to crack that? You can't. Even Ethereum is they've got 410 terahash right now. Where are you going to get a supercomputer? Man, China, that's why Chinese government ain't trying to attack that stuff, because it's just too expensive. It doesn't make sense to try and go after it.
Well, if they wanted to try to do so, well, they are a decade too late. Probably with the inception, it might have been possible, but at this point in time, forget it.
Okay, Abu Future Trunks asked, you mentioned in the old video about white knighting and not getting involved. What if a Jababi/Niqabi sister is getting attacked by an Islamophobe and you are able to intervene? Is it a white knight? Man, I'm really... Let me ask you something. If you knew an old uncle and he was a Muslim and he was getting attacked, would you intervene? The entire question is framed wrong. It's like, either you're going to help a person or you're not. Me, I don't discriminate. If I'm going to help a person, I'm going to help a person. If it's a sister or if it's a brother, if it's this and that one. So, my entire intervention triggers, I've brought them under control to where it's like I don't feel that automatic instinctual, and it is instinctive, desire to go out and protect female because she's female. I got enough females in my life and enough children in my life that it's like they need my protection, and it's like I can't be risking my life out there for just random strangers. But at the same time, am I going to stand around and let someone, helpless or whatever, get, beat down or whatever else? Probably not. But I loathe intervening in random, very unpredictable situations like that. It's not a matter of fear. It's just like, put yourself in this position. If you die, who's going to intervene on behalf of your family? Probably nobody. And then that's when your family needs you, you're not there. In this day and age, and we were just talking about this earlier, me and Rich, before everybody else came on. It's like, no, everybody was here. This is an age where people, like, they can't let lying dogs sleep. They'll stab you, they'll shoot you, they'll whatever else over some petty, goofy stuff. So
yeah, I've got the impression Abuamerican throws up again.
Anytime my wife goes shopping by herself, not anytime, but sometimes, that's when people yell at her. Because she wears niqab, she wears the face veil. When I'm there, you think anybody does that? No. So really, the solution is for these sisters to follow Islam, to go out with a male guardian, and then that has an effect. Most guys tend to think twice about intervening with a sister or a woman in general, not just a Muslim one, just any woman when a guy's involved, when a guy's around.
Yep.
So following Islam is probably the best key. Keep your man with you. Go out with your male guardian like you're supposed to. Is it a problem then? Then random guys won't have to intervene and potentially risk their life, Or, and when we say risk your life, understand you don't have to die. Let's say guys like us here who have all done some training and some fighting, we get involved. The guy's actually, like I said, he's 99% a victim. He just doesn't know it. You place a very good, solid roundhouse kick on a guy's head. You knock him out. He falls down, hits his head on the curb. Boom, he's out of it. All they know is this kickboxer, Rich. This Muay Thai boxer, kicks fighter, this vicious dude, don't let his smile fool you. That's what they're going to do to him in the court. And now his life is kind of over because what if he gets convicted? He goes to jail.
Yep.
For what? Someone who's probably not even come to his trial unless it's like to testify. And if he goes to jail, you think they're going to come visit him or anything like this, help him take care of his life and get back on his feet when he gets out? Probably not. So you got to think about these stuff when you get involved in these situations. You have to ask yourself, it's like, why are these, women wandering the streets, especially Muslim women? We expect this from non-Muslim women, and that's not an insult, but they have different codexes and different ways of life than us. Our way of life is very clear, crystal clear. Women don't go out alone. So if she has to, then okay, fine. But if she's out wandering the street, it's like, where's your male guardian at? I didn't let my women walk the street in London. That just wasn't happening. They were like, I live here. I'm like, I don't care. I'm here now. You don't go out by yourself. It's not what you do. Here in the bush where I am, all my neighbors know me. They know I'm crazy. They know I got crossbows and guns, whatever else. They're not going to do anything. They're like, this guy's nuts. So, my wife's pretty good out here. It's always someone driving by. It's never someone from the town, So, bro, I can't really answer your question. It's a hard call. It's a tough call. If I think the sister's actually going to be physically harmed badly, then I'll probably intervene. But if it's just like he's being a goofball, I'll probably observe and call the police.
Yeah, if I may come in here when it comes to the question, got to admit I'm not a Muslim, but if you must interfere, do so out of decency, not because of some religious reason or ideological reason. Only do so out of common decency. If you see it's a weaker person being attacked by someone stronger for whatever reason it might be, interfere, and it's not really white knighting. It's just question of decency and morale. You have to look after yourself, but it is as equally important to look after the people you care about and who are not in the position to defend themselves. So to me, it's really more a question of decency, not so much about white knighting or being protecting your faith in this case. So yeah, decency. That's my answer.
I mean, he does predicate it in the question. He says white knighting, because this was a video about white knighting, and it was a video about a sister. Well, it was about a young man. He got killed, and it was an unnecessary death when you looked at the situation. And then as more details came out, it became clearer and clearer, that his death was an unnecessary one. But your hour is written by Allah, so when it's your time, you're going to go. Nevertheless, his involvement in that situation was completely unnecessary, and he ended up losing his life over it, And so that's the context of that video. In that specific situation, it was a girl who was dealing with a guy that she'd always been in a relationship with, and then he got involved because he didn't understand the context. He just saw a girl in trouble. I'm gonna go save the girl, and somehow I guess he humiliated the guy. The guy came back with his buddies and they stabbed him to death.
Yeah, I'd like to add that a lot of these things happen on the fly. You don't really have the time to think, is it a good idea to get in? What are they fighting about? It's just you go by instinct a lot of the times. This is actually how I got into my first ever street fight. I saw a guy Me and my friend of mine, we saw a guy get beat up by 5 guys, and that's my first street fight right there. And it's just I wasn't thinking, is this a good idea? It obviously wasn't a good idea, but I wasn't thinking about it. It just happened.
This is what I mean by my instinct. I've got that under control now. Before I would do that. Now I'm older and everything, and I have to actually stop and think about consequences, mainly for myself, because alhamdulillah, I'm not saying I'm Superman, but I know I can hurt somebody. I know I can hit really hard, not just hard, really hard. My punching bag's 200 kilos. When I hit that thing, it's like it doesn't budge, and so I hit it harder, and now I just got like I've always had a hard punch, but it's like, So now when I know it's like I go hit somebody, it can have effects. I'm over 200 pounds. I know how to throw my weight behind a punch. I could probably kill a person or severely injure him. So I have to think about these things also, and I got to think about my family, who's going to take care of them, this, that, there's a lot in your mind. And yes, that is that. I mean, let me not be a dickhead, that to a degree, that is a type of fear. It is a type of fear for my family and the consequences that can come about. I'm not worried about going to jail. I'm not worried about all that type of stuff. Unfortunately, I think that's an African-American thing. In those terms of consequences, that's kind of like somewhere in our epigenetics that got switched off. And that's why you find so many African-Americans in jail. We don't think about consequences like that. That doesn't bother me. But the consequences for the people I care for is what I actually think about.
There's an important factor here, actually. The question is a good one, because if one just looks at the Islamic guidelines of, what's it called? تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. Enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. In this case, forbidding the evil. There are guidelines, and there is no hero complex involved in this particular thing. If you enter that with a hero complex, someone's getting hurt, and someone's going to regret it. Most likely, the one who has the hero complex, right? So, the one in any situation, a person is required to assess whether or not they are able to handle that situation effectively, which prevents further harm, right? So if you intend to get involved and then more harm follows, then you failed, right? Such as you getting hurt, the other person getting hurt anyway. In the case of the family one, that's probably one of the biggest ones, right? You get hurt severely or fatally, your family is now left without a protector and somebody whose job is to actually look after them, because we don't have any other option. You have to do it. So if a person finds that it doesn't work, or you're not confident in your fighting skills or whatever, if you're afraid to go to jail and stuff like that, then just call the police. We're taught in this society, I think, with the Hollywood and growing up watching fictional media, pop media, everybody has a hero complex, right? Oh, I've got to save that person, oh, I need to rush in. But it's important to have that instinct under control, because if you don't, it will get you killed, right? As we saw with the case of that 16 or 17-year-old boy, right? And it was quite sad. It's pointless, pretty much pointless. I don't know what he was doing, but it wasn't, as I say, simping doesn't pay. So he didn't assess the situation because he didn't have knowledge, and he didn't have maturity, emotional maturity. So he found himself in a situation which his family eventually regretted. It's quite simple, really. It's just people ignorant of the guidelines and the means to assess things and control one's emotional response to a scenario before doing it.
True words spoken there.
So let me ask you guys. We're gonna move on to the next subject because we're coming up on an hour. Women. I've got multiple. What about you guys? What do you guys think about that? Is that your lifestyle? Is that something you guys would do, or is that something you guys don't do? What's going on?
I've got many girlfriends, but there's only one real girlfriend, and I'm saying this because she's sitting right next to me, so I have to watch out.
Well, I know one of my wives is in the comments right now. She just totally geeked out on me. I mean, I'm like, I don't even know what the heck she's talking about. My wife completely nerded out on me. They say you should burn the key to the TDL name and then set the script so that site can be renewed.
Oh, she's still on HNS.
So it exists forever. That's how the D-Web works. I'm like, you nerd. What are you talking about?
Decentralized web. Nice.
We do this together. I'm like, what are you talking about, you nerd? Nerd! Ah!
Hello, my bad.
It's okay for women to be nerds, though. Men can't be nerds, though. Sorry. Not forever. What about you, Rich? What's your thing on relationships with women? You a monogamy guy? You a polygyny guy?
I came from a very monogamous background. I've always been a very familial kind of person. I actually recently just got out of a 5-year relationship / engagement with my ex-fiance. So now it's like revisiting with the knowledge that I see now, knowing that there's multiple women is an option. That does appeal to me. I do like that idea in the sense of abundance and a family unit.
Yeah, I like it that way too, personally. Just interjecting here before we go around the panel and ask everybody. I mean, I prefer it that way too. I'm not like a hit it and quit it type of guy. I never was, but I've always been like a guy that likes having, even before I was Muslim, like having, fixed women that I knew and I liked, because a lot of times I did the hit it and quit it culture in Germany before I became Muslim. And who disappeared? Shaq disappeared. And before I became Muslim, and sometimes you end up with a woman you don't like. You're just like, oh, man, how do we end up like intimate? It's like, ew, God, you're such a jerk, And so, it's something that I didn't like very early on, because I had those women that I actually had good relationships with and I liked, and I was together with them for prolonged periods of time. And so that whole culture just it never appealed to me. And in Germany, that's easy because, black is, chocolate's the flavor of the week here with the ladies, they love it here. It's different, It's like you take something different and put it in an environment that's homogenous, and it becomes like, ooh, it's exotic.
Yeah, das ist so gut.
Yes, and women like excitement and different and everything, and so you become that new emotion for them to experience. It's kind of fetishization. Yeah. So, yeah. What about you, Alex? Man, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm single because since I turned Muslim, you can't just hook up anymore. Right, and I don't yet have the money where I feel confident to take care of a family, so I'm kind of locked in this place where I'm now Muslim, so I can't just hook up, but I'm also, if I want a family, I have to cover the expenses, right? So I'm really looking to get my money right this year, preferably by summer, and then I'll just find a wife.
There you go. And let me jump in again. This right here, did you hear a statement, guys? This is that statement for everybody who says, oh, you became a Muslim so you can have multiple women. No, it's easier to have multiple women when you're not Muslim because you can just like hit it and quit it. You can have multiple. She's going to go back to her place. You ain't got to pay for nothing except for like maybe a cup of coffee. Becoming Muslim to have multiple women, that's like hustling women backwards. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that. Because in Islam, you got to pay everything. So everybody
that sees that I converted to Islam and asks me, oh, you did it for to have multiple wives. Well, the thing is actually that Islam helps the woman more than it helps the man.
Absolutely.
Because if you're not Muslim, you're like you said, you just hit it, quit it, and that's it, and it's done, and you don't care. But now you have responsibilities in the relationship.
Yep. Yeah. Anybody who says that you become Muslim for like multiple women is an idiot. I mean, I'm sorry. That's a person who has no sense of critical thinking whatsoever. That's a person who is just like blurting out like, tropisms that he heard somewhere on the internet. That's not a critical thinker. And you just look at him like, yeah, you're dumb. Your parents, they should have put you down. Did your mom drop you when you were a baby and then accidentally kick you while trying to pick you up? Oh, damn. Whoops. What about you, Shaq? What's your? I think you're looking to get married. You looking for 1, 2, 3, 4?
So at this time, I am single. However, I do hold the belief that polygamy or polygyny, specifically for those who want to be technical and start biting at Abuamerican because I said something, right? Is that polygyny is the origin of marriage. That's how it's supposed to be done, not monogamy, right? Yeah. So when we say the word marriage, we should think of polygyny. We shouldn't think of monogamy, right? And that's how it's supposed to be. And we've studied this from the scholars of Islam, and we take our knowledge of Islam and we practice it according to the the original practice, without any changes or alterations. So I hold that position, and I will hold that position until my Lord wills otherwise, which hopefully is nowhere else except my death. Right, so inshallah, I'm looking at this time and hoping to get that done. It's fixing a few issues, not money related. It's other things that working on to establish that, you could say, security and stability that the women seek, and It's one of those things. It's one of those things where I can handle my family, but I can't put a stranger through the ringer. You know,
There's
looking after their well-being and rights.
And I can't find it. I'll try and find it. But there's some study that shows that in general, in almost all species, not all of them, but most species, there are actually more females born than males. And this is actually a biological function and trigger in all species. Man, I can't find it to save my life. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the origin of marriage is polygynous, you know. And when we look at, like, you know, how men are, we do goofier stuff and we die sooner, you know, and and we die sooner because sometimes we do goofier stuff. You know, it's just true. The reason why we have everything is some guy experimented with something at some point. Maybe not making furniture, but, you know, some guy was like, you know, what's over that hill? And there's actually a bear there, you know. You know, or it's like, hey, if I make this rope, can I climb down this cliff? You know, it broke and he fell down. Guys are inventors, creators, builders, and everything. And with that comes, like, you know, higher mortality. Women tend to play it more safe and, you know, steady. And so there's generally more women than men because we also go to war. So really, it's very easy, you know, to see how a man would be polygynous and have more, like, you know, quote unquote, a harem, you know, of women than, you know, being monogamous. That's not the crap on the guys who want to be monogamous. I mean, you know, I'm obviously, you know, a polygyny guy, but, you know, if a guy wants to be monogamous, that's his thing, you know. I'm not going to crap about it.
Where it concerns monogamy, the reason I am monogamous is by reason that I'm actually very exclusive to the people I let into my life, and that's the reason why I have one real girlfriend, my current one. By reason, that's one person I keep to let in, and I want her to have a qualitative time from me. So, if I give my attention to her, it is of utmost importance to me. If I start, well, sharing it with others, well, it means it's a less qualitative time, and that's my main reason that I keep it on one
well, you
girl.
know, this is the point behind my vetting guide, to be very selective about the women that you let in your life. You know, the thing that I've come to realize is that it's actually because men and women love differently. Men can actually, you know, in their method of loving, you know, provide quality, deference, and care, aka love, to multiple women. It just, yeah, I think you have to actually experience it to actually, like, you know, to see that it works. And then the woman has to actually see it also, because a lot of women don't believe it's possible. Because women, they're very solipsistic. They're very, you know, they can't really think outside the box of self. And so when like, I always get this question from women: "There's nothing wrong with me. Why does he want to marry again?" It's like, there is nothing wrong with you. You know, you're pretty, you're smart, this, that, the other. You know, your fertility's in order. You do your housework like you're supposed to. But he doesn't love the way you do. You love very exclusively. You know, you love intensely and exclusively, and you want to love that guy. He doesn't love like that. You know, his love is different than yours. And so you can't externally project the female methodology of love onto the male one. And when you think about it from a biological standpoint, it makes perfect sense. I'm going to totally geek out on you guys here real quick. So if you look at how few eggs a woman produces, what is she going to do? She's going to love intensely her children, right? That's because she can only have 1, 2 child, you know, let's say twins, you know, in the age of fertility treatment, it's obviously more, but the standard woman has 1 child. And so she's going to love that child intensely. So it makes sense that her love is going to be far more focused than a man's, because in 9 months, he can impregnate a woman a day for those 9 months. Now, I'm not saying he can love all those women, but what I'm saying is his strategy of reproduction is very different. So obviously, the social expression of his reproductive strategy is also going to be different. Hers is going to be focused and intense because of the high cost to her. His is going to be less intense, but it's going to be broader, you know, because he can spray and pray, fire and forget. Yeah, so that's my thing. And so I think, you know, of course, there's there's limitations. You know, a guy can go too far, obviously, but you know, I really, since out of my experiences for the past like 8 years now, because I've been like married to multiple women for 8 years now. Dude, you know, you intensely love multiple women, you know, intensely. Let's see right here. It says, Taylor says, society is projected through movies, music, and etc. that men live up to these certain standards for women. But what about vice versa? That's something I talk about here on this channel. Is that women have standards and expectations for men. And a lot of times through religion, these are enforced. But what about men? Men should have standards that they enforce upon women. And obviously there are, we've seen religiously and historically that women have sometimes unfairly, face the brunt of unfair cultures. And that's why I call some guys cultures goofy. I call goofy cultures, But I do believe in setting standards for women. Women should have standards for men. Men should have standards for women. But we understand women already get that. Women are already you got 6 foot, 6 figures, 6 inches, and they come with all that goofy stuff that, that they're not even, up to par on. But guys having standards for women is a big deal. And I talk about this in my betting guide. This will be a freebie for my betting guide. I said, guys will get in there. They'll have all these standards and a list of stuff for women. And she'll show up with her boobs popping out of her turtleneck. And he'll be like, oh, titties. And he'll forget everything. She can't read, she can't write, but she looks good in some high heels and that push-up bra. And dudes will forget every single standard he had for a woman. And it's just, I mentioned this in my betting guide, so it's like you have to really be, you have to be really hard on yourself when it comes down to women because it's easy to get blinded. Hoo-ha is blinding, man. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really a question of exposure. Not too many men are exposed to many women, and as soon as they see a little bit of skin, their brain turns to mush, blood runs through the dick, and they commence drooling, etc. So, yeah, it really boils down to abundance mentality.
My niggas is called beta male strategies. Oh, man. What's the example of goofy culture? In some Asian cultures, when I say Asian, I mean Southeast Asian, not Far East Asian, they see divorce as like something bad. Islamically, there's no blame against a woman for being divorced, and there's no blame against a man for being divorced Islamically. There's no stigma attached to it. These people will remain miserably married and act like it's an honorable trait. That's a goofy culture. So the guy will get up in the morning, look at his wife, and just be like, God, I hate that woman. She'll look at him and like, and they'll live like that until they die. That's goofy as fornication.
I'm South Asian, so I can confirm.
Yeah, there you go. See, you see it in London, man. You see it in London. These old couples walking around, and it's like you could tell they ain't smiled in years. They got those ingrained, burned-in lines in their face from like misery lines. People got those smiley faces even when they're not smiling. Like Rich, look at him. You can tell this guy smiles a lot. You can see it on his face. But these other people, they're walking around London like, dude, man, really? It's sunny out, birds chirping and everything, your money's right. What, you ain't smiling, homie?
Yeah, it's what I call a resting bitch face.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop cussing. So that's goofy culture, Mr. Beta Male Strategy. He stole that from Alpha Male Strategies. Alpha Male Strategies is like a famous channel. Guys, we went on for like an hour and 13 minutes, man. I just want to chop it up with some dudes to follow me. So yeah, beta male strategy. There's a lot of goofy culture, but that's just like the most obvious one that I mentioned a lot. And when you find people attacking me about how many times I've been divorced, it's usually people from that community, because that's their culture, and it's not really our religion. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody got anything else? Otherwise, we just call it a day, man. I just want to chop it up and do something a little different, like I said.
Definitely learned a lot today. I like learning more as I see it more and more, especially on like Muslim culture, because I come from like a very Catholic and Christian upbringing. So to see another one in practice, like that's pretty damn cool.
Oh, let me ask you something before we go, Rich. You say what kind of drone do you use?
I have a DJI Mavic Air 2 right now.
Nice. Yeah, I got the Mavic. I got the Mavic 2 Pro. Yeah, I got the DJI Mavic Air Pro. I just ordered. It hasn't been released in Germany yet, but I just got the DJI FPV, the new FPV drone they put out. Oh, yeah. So yeah. I'm like really excited. I'm like, I can't wait for it to go. I'm being a goofball. So yeah, I can't wait for that thing to show up because I'm kind of like a geek. That's why I have that Alpha Nerd show. So yeah, man, that's an excellent drone, man. I mean, it's really underrated for for the price range that the entry point price and what it's capable of. Dude, that Hasselblad, beautiful pictures, man. You can check it out on Drunk on Drones, man. You can see it over there on my whatchamacallit. on my Drunk on Drones channel, man. I did a few paid jobs over there. Yeah, I got some of the photography there. Guys, man, thanks for coming on, man. I gotta do something like this more often, like maybe once a month though. You know, it's like my schedule's too heavy, and with all this studying and stuff, I can't really be live like I used to. Rich, man, if anybody wants to follow you on Twitter, man, how they do it?
And it's on the name right there.
Oh, yeah, it is. There it is. Yeah, Metal Shotgun. At Metal Shotgun. Or Shogun.
Shogun.
Yeah, Shogun. It's like really small on my screen. It's like tiny. Alex, man.
Yeah.
You ain't got enough followers, dude.
Yeah, I'll just throw my my
I'll put it up on the
Twitter
screen.
in here. Yeah.
You
And
need to get that web work done. Hit my man up. He does my website. He does everything on there. It's like, man, he like totally like transformed my online game. I wasn't making money before I met him, and so now it's like, you know, it's a steady paycheck now. Thank you, sir.
yeah, man.
Thank you. Over there.
Websites, blockchain creators, all sorts of stuff on my Twitter right there.
Yeah. Shaka Akhtar, Ahla, man. What about you, Father Shaq, man? You want any followers? Do you want to be followed?
Phone off. Sorry, guys, that was my family. Right, I'll just pop it in the chat here. I'm usually found on Twitter, Instagram. I don't really use besides the occasional visit. I do a bit of counseling here and there, kind of unofficial stuff. You know, whoever wants to talk, I'm your guy. I might find usually my customers are young Muslim dudes who are kind of lost. So, you know, if there's any kiddos here,
Yeah, you get the deep dive on Islam on Shaq's channel.
Hey, Shaq is great if you want to learn about Islam. I mean, it's him and Abuamerican that made me a Muslim.
Yeah. Alex became Muslim actually. MashaAllah, barakallah, So anyway, Dimitri, you guys see him every Sunday. He's on the show. We do Blockchain Bros together. So if you don't know his stuff by now, man,
Yeah. Otherwise, see website attached on the name.
Yeah. We're here every Sunday, so Dimitri, you guys should know his stuff already. Guys, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Your man Abuamerican, along with my homies and the guests. Nice to meet you, Rich. We shall be talking more on the chat side of the game on Twitter. Guys, we are out.